No, and I mean, if you're anti-union as a CEO, you're anti-union busting or you're for union busting. I'm not saying you're anti-union. I'm just saying that it seems like to me, as a former CEO, not nearly at the success that you were at, sir, and I'm not trying to defend your company because, quite frankly, politically, we're on totally different ends of the spectrum. And so the irony of this hearing is actually kind of funny. And I do want to point out some hypocrisy about this hearing with the chairman. And it's not trying to get personal. All this information is going to be very public.
Whoa, hold up. Did you guys see that? That was Senator Mullen from Oklahoma, and he just went there. He looked Bernie Sanders dead in the eye and called out the elephant in the room that nobody in D.C. wants to talk about. Welcome back to the channel, folks. Today we are breaking down a clip that is absolute gold. You know, usually these Senate hearings are boring. It's just grandstanding, suits talking to suits. But every once in a while, someone decides to drop the script and speak the truth. We've got Bernie Sanders, the self-proclaimed champion of the working class, grilling former Starbucks CEO Howard Schultz. Bernie is doing his usual thing, painting every CEO as a villain and every business owner as corrupt. But Senator Mullen wasn't having it. He decided to flip the script and ask a simple question. If making money is so bad, Bernie, why are you so rich? We're going to watch the full exchange, but let me tell you, Mullen exposes the double standard in a way I haven't seen in a long time. It's the classic rules for thee, but not for me. Let's dive into the full video and see how Bernie handles getting a taste of his own medicine.
The story will come back to that because it sounds like something to do.
I hope you do.
I'll defer to Senator Mark Wayne Mullen.
Well, thank you. And considering the chairman doesn't want to hear any of that information because I believe he's pretty biased in his opinion already, Mr. Schultz, I'll give you an opportunity to finish that if you'll do it quickly.
Thank you very much. So, as you might imagine, we're very curious to understand what happened in Buffalo. And we later found out that this individual, which was hired in 2020, was paid for and under the employment of the union that was basically trying to organize Starbucks. We later found out there was more than one person. And so you might want to ask yourself, where's the fairness, right, the objectivity, and the integrity of what we're talking about here today?
No, and I mean, if you're anti-union as a CEO, you're anti-union busting or you're for union busting. I'm not saying you're anti-union. I'm just saying that it seems like to me, as a former CEO, not nearly at the success that you were at, sir, and I'm not trying to defend your company because, quite frankly, politically, we're on totally different ends of the spectrum. And so the irony of this hearing is actually kind of funny. And I do want to point out some hypocrisy about this hearing with the chairman. And it's not trying to get personal. All this information is going to be very public. But the fact that you can't defend your company because you want to have a good relationship with your employees and you believe in employee value, which we all do. Any CEO knows that the success of our companies are based on our employees. We get that. But it seems like unions today, all they want to do is fight with their employees or their employer, the same employer that is hiring those team members, and that friction causes a very volatile and tough workplace. And if the company and the employees aren't in the same boat, rowing in the same direction, then neither one can be successful. And unions themselves, if you're part of a union, you can never be an executive, you can never be a manager, and never be a CEO. And if you can't be an executive or a manager or the CEO, then how are you actually going to implement the changes that the unions want in those positions to begin with? And it seems like they actually hold back their team members. Mm-hmm. But I take offense to the chairman pointing out that all CEOs are corrupt because they're millionaires. You know, if you make a lot of money, you're corrupt. It's bothering to me because, Mr. Chairman, you yourself have been very successful. Rightfully so. Glad you have been. You've been in office for 28 years, and you and your wife have immersed a wealth of over $8 million. And in fact, your quote on being wealthy and being a millionaire was, well, if you write a bestseller, you can be a millionaire too. If you can be a millionaire, why can't Mr. Schultz and other CEOs be millionaires and be honest too? If that's the case, then why is it that Mr. Schultz, who actually creates jobs and a bestseller of a book, isn't creating any jobs? Why is it that he's corrupt and you're not? Why is it that all CEOs are corrupt because they're wealthy, and yet our chairman, who is wealthy, and I'm glad you are, you're not? Guys, the government's role is to create an environment for entrepreneurs, for go-getters, for world changers to be successful in life. The U.S. government is designed for people that want to succeed can. We can go out and achieve anything that we choose to. But when you lean towards socialism, what you think is government is the answer and unions are the choice. And if you're against us, then you're dead wrong and you must be corrupt. That's not the world we're living in. That's not the America that we believe in. And I'm not against unions. If you want to choose to be in a union, be in a union. But if you choose not to, then you choose not to. And that's why I'm good with right-to-work states. That's honestly why unions actually thrive in Oklahoma, and we're right-to-work states, because it creates a happy environment and a good environment, because employees get to choose what they want to be part of. And the employer can have a say in it. What is wrong with choice? What is wrong with employees having a choice? What is wrong with the CEO defending his company and openly saying that he is providing good benefits and paying higher than everybody else? But yet, if you're not part of a union, you're also paying starvation wages. What hypocrisy? What bias? Chairman, you are chair of the Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee. We shouldn't have a biased approach. We should have what's best for America and all those that want to thrive and work in it. And so while we politically disagree, Mr. Schultz, I applaud you for your success. And I applaud all the CEOs out there for their success and all the employees that work hard, that's in the same boat, that's making their companies great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, let me respond, because the senator did mention my name, I think. And I think you got an all-time record here. You've made more misstatements in a shorter period of time than I have ever heard.
Please correct
Well,
me,
if I'm
because
worth
it's
$8
all
million,
public.
excuse me.
It's all public.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right? Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
If I'm worth $8 million, that's good news to me. I'm not aware of it. That's a lie. All right? Number two.
Part of public records.
You're probably looking at some phony right-wing internet stuff. It ain't true.
No,
All right? You should read beyond that. It is not true.
it's
All
part
right?
of public records.
No, it is not public record.
Okay. Well, you made
It is not
$1.7 million on your book.
public record.
You made
All right?
1.7
It is-
on your book.
Excuse me. I've got the mic now. Number
you not
two,
make the statement
I
that if
have
you want to
the
be a
mic
millionaire?
now. I've got it.
Did you
had
not
your
make
time.
that statement?
You had your time.
Okay.
All right? You're not telling the truth. Second of all, you got no evidence that I have ever said that all CEOs are corrupt. I have never, ever said that.
Probably not all, but
well,
every time you talk
probably
about
not, then
CEOs, you do
shouldn't
say that.
Say it. Furthermore, what this hearing is about is whether or not you talk about being pro-union. Really, what this hearing is about is whether workers have the constitutional right to form a union. The evidence is overwhelming, not from me, but from the National Labor Relations Board, is that time after time after time, despite what Mr. Schultz is saying.
Man, that was satisfying. Was that satisfying to you? Because that felt like a long time coming. Let's break this down, because Markwayne Mullen just put on a masterclass in how to dismantle a socialist narrative. First off, right out of the gate, you saw the bias. Bernie didn't even want to let Howard Schultz finish his sentence about the union organizer in Buffalo. He's trying to cut him off, control the narrative, and Mullen calls it immediately. He says the chairman doesn't want to hear any of that. He's pretty biased. That set the tone. Mullen wasn't there to play Bernie's game. But the real fireworks started when Mullen brought up the net worth. This is the point we always scream at our TVs, right? Mullen points out that Bernie and his wife have amassed a fortune, over $8 million by some estimates. And look, in America, that's great. We want people to be successful. That's the American dream. But here is the kicker. When Howard Schultz makes billions creating a company that employs hundreds of thousands of people, he's corrupt. He's the bad guy. But when Bernie makes millions, it's just good business? Mullen nailed him with his own quote. Did you catch that? He reminded everyone that Bernie said, if you write a bestseller, you can be a millionaire too. So let me get this straight. Creating jobs, building stores, taking risks, that's
Classic
evil
deflection.
capitalism. But
He
selling
didn't
a book
actually
about
address
how
the
evil
core point,
capitalism
which
is to become a
Why
millionaire
is your
yourself,
wealth moral?
that's
But a
totally
CEO's
fine.
wealth is
Give me a
immoral.
break.
He tried
loved
to act
Mullen's
tough
point
with the
about
whole
the
"I
role
have
of
the mic
government.
now" routine, but
He
honestly,
said the government is supposed to
he
create
looked
an
like a guy who
environment for
got caught with his
entrepreneurs to
hand in the cookie
succeed.
jar.
That is what
He
built
tried
this
to
country.
pivot back to
But Bernie's
constitutional
view
rights,
and the
but
socialist
the damage
view
was done.
is that if you aren't part
The
of a union
hypocrisy
or
was
the
laid
government,
bare for everyone
you're
to
the
see.
enemy.
Mullen
Senator
made a
Mullen
great
stood
point
up for the
about
idea
right-to-work
that success
states like
isn't a
Oklahoma.
crime. He
It's
stood up
about
for the business
choice.
owners who actually
If
drive this
unions are
economy.
so great,
And
why
most
do you have to
importantly,
force
he
people to
exposed the
join
fact
them?
that the people
Why do
preaching
you have to
socialism
demonize
are
the
usually
employer?
doing just fine
You
under
can't have
capitalism.
employees without an employer.
Bernie can shout all
It's
he
common
wants,
sense.
but he lost
common
this round.
sense seems to be in short
Big time.
supply in Bernie's committee.
What did you guys think?
And then,
Was Mullen too harsh, or was it
The
exactly
reaction.
what Bernie needed to hear?
oh boy,
Let me know in the
reaction.
comments below.
You
Don't
know
forget
you've
to
won
like
the
and
argument
subscribe
when the
for
other
more
guy
common
starts
sense
shouting and
reactions.
banging
I'll
the
catch you in
gavel.
the next one.
Bernie lost his cool.
He started yelling, "Excuse me, excuse me." He looked rattled, and his defense, it was weak.